Welcome to Learn Jazz Drums. Today we're going to talk about a cool thing that you can do to make figures on a big band or a small group that you have to play not sound as monotonous. So a lot of times if we have like 4 consecutive offbeats, it's really easy to just play all of them on the bass drum, and then it can end up sounding a little lame. 1, 2, 3. So what Mel Lewis used to do is he would insert some snare drums in there to break it up. So let's start by just replacing one of those bass drums with a snare drum. 1, 2, 3. So that already sounds a little better, and let's try just moving it around a little bit. Now let's put it on the third and the fourth ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. I personally don't do that one as much because for me the bass drum holds a little more weight when I'm ending a phrase, but experiment, figure out what you like. Now let's try adding 2 snare drum hits in there. 1, 2, 3. So that's already sounding pretty cool. Another thing you can do is alternate every other with a bass drum, snare drum, bass drum, snare drum. The only thing is with figures like this and maybe quarter note figures, it can sometimes sound like some weird offbeat polyrhythmic rock beat that you're trying to throw in there. And just be careful of that because that can sound really stupid. But on most figures that can work really well, and experiment with it. Here's an example of what you don't want it to sound like, and it usually comes out if it's 2 full bars of a figure. So I'll do that for an example. 1, 2, 3. Also, another tip to keep in mind when doing this is you don't always have to crash the cymbals. You can also just play the figures on the drums, or maybe just play a stroke and the snare drum and bass drum are doing the accenting for you. Like this. 1, 2, 3. And then what I was doing was crashing the last one, but use your ears, figure out what's best. So now let's try out a figure that's 4 quarter notes and the last one on beat 4 holds over. 2. So check it out if you were to just do bass drums. 1, 2, 2, 3. So play around with this, see what different variations you can come up with. Maybe if it's 4 hits, try adding 1 snare drum, 2 snare drums, 3 snare drums, all snare drums. See how they sound. And this is for when you're practicing. You want to come up with these and add them to your arsenal, and then when you go out on a gig, you're not really thinking about this, it just comes out naturally. So instead of this, maybe you do something a little cooler like this. And thanks for watching. Head on over to learnjazzdrums.co where you can join our mailing list, get a free transcription, and see all the new free video lessons and blog posts coming your way each week. You can also subscribe on YouTube to stay up to date on our free weekly video lessons, and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for lots of great daily posts.